What's up, guys? Finally got a scar. Well, not exactly. This is a Black Aces Tactical Pro Max 12. And this is not a suppressor, but I will say this. This is a 1919 magazine for 12 gauge. This is, I believe, 2 3/4 and 3 inch rated. It is. I looked right there. It is. I believe most of their guns are 2 3/4 and 3 inch rated. This works almost exactly like an AR. You flip the lever down right here for your safety. You have your mag release right here. It is ambidextrous. A lot of, ARs and stuff aren't ambidextrous. You have a mag release here. You have your bolt drop right here, just like on an AR. I do want to say, I wondered about this when I picked it up. I was like, well, before I picked it up, I see it in a picture and I was like, I wonder how lightweight that is. And I thought it'd just be like a big pile of plastic and it wouldn't weigh nothing. If you order one of these or go pick one of these up, this thing weighs a lot. It should be very good on recoil because it weighs so much. Now, I will say this. This just looks like the boot of a Scar, the UGG boot. The only thing this does is it goes up and down. The stock does not telescope. So if you're looking for a telescopic stocked 12 gauge, this may not be it. This thing is actually getting heavy. I ain't gonna lie. I'm curious if the charging handle actually reciprocates. I'm thinking it does. It has a lot of pick rail on it. I actually threw a Vortex optic on it a little while ago. It does come with sights. It is kind of like a Magpul knockoff sight, I'm assuming. These guns are all made in Turkey. This one back here, if you push down this side, it doesn't actually come up right. If you push on the right side, I guess you kind of got to push on both sides. It doesn't want to work with just one side, but this one, it will work with just one side. Well, it works with the left side. There's give and takes to some of this stuff. This is not a suppressor. This gun is not loaded. You can unscrew this like so. It does take a second. It's got a lot of threads on it. It threads right in the middle of the gun. It just comes off. You can just see it's hollow inside. There's no baffles or nothing. And that's what it looks like without this over it. I think it looks better with it on, but I almost wish they would have just put like a flash hider on it instead of putting this fake can on it. That's just my 2 cents. You can, decide for yourself which one you like better. It does have chokes. Most of these do come with chokes. It does also come with this Magpul AFE or AFG, knockoff grip, which is fine. Not a big deal about that. It works, so nothing huge there. I do also wonder if this is going to be like the Scar Heavy and be an optic killer, since this is only like $100 optic. Will it kill this optic like the Scar Heavy kills optics? I don't know. We'll find out. But enough talking. Oh yeah, these magazines are 5 rounds. You can get 10 rounders, and I think they have like a 15 round drum. But I've heard the drum is not crazy reliable in some of these. So buy that with your own caution. But I've heard the 10 rounders are pretty reliable. I'm pretty anxious to shoot this because I'm curious if this one runs. So the Pro L that we looked at ran. The Pro L Tactical had an issue. It wouldn't eject some shells, and the ejection it had was really weak. Let's see what this one does. Now, this one is an automatic, and it is very heavy. So we're going to run some low brass through it, which I do not think this will run low brass. We'll find that out. And then we'll run some high brass through it, and I do think it will run high brass just fine. That's just my opinion. So let's go load up one of these magazines and get to it. It does come with 2 magazines, by the way. I do just want to throw it out there. This is not the easiest magazine I've ever loaded in my life. It is doable, but it is not the easiest magazine that I have ever loaded. All right, let's run this back. Let's see if it kicked. Yep, it got one in. All right, low brass. Let's see if it runs it. Not the first one. I don't think it's going to run low brass. Nah, I don't think it's going to run it. Let's go to high brass already. All right, guys, we got the same high brass. I got several different kinds of high brass. See if it won't run this. We'll run like some PDX or something like that. Hopefully it runs this. This is just that old Remington duck and pheasant number 6 shot. So we'll see if it runs that. Hopefully it does. I can do it like that. I didn't know if I'd be able to, but I can. So let's see if it runs it. All right, guys, that's kind of what I figured. You can see here the bolt stayed back. You've got your bolt catch right here, just like an AR. You can hit that, the bolt flies back forward. I wanted to see, I meant to watch and see if this charging handle reciprocated. I bet it does. I don't know. I'm just curious. I am going to watch that next time. But that outcome was pretty much as what I thought it would be, pretty much expected. It wouldn't run low brass. I didn't think it would. This thing has a pretty stiff operating system. So I did not think it would run that. I just wanted to try it and find out. But it did run high brass just fine, which is what I was expecting. Recoil, not too bad, but this thing weighs a ton, so it should not be that bad. I want to load some more high brass in it and just shoot this thing some more. This one is actually fun. The lever actions, they were fun, but you knew you were shooting them. This one, it's fun, and it doesn't knock your teeth out. So I think I'll like shooting this one a little bit more. All right, guys, I got some Winchester PDX-1. I'm going to assume this stuff will run flawlessly. It should be pretty good stuff, so I'm just going to assume that it's just going to run and run and run. Let's just find out. All right, guys, I'm really liking this shotgun. We're going to shoot this in a little more. It does still have some punch to it, but being an automatic, it's just, to me, it's a little more fun to run than the lever actions. The lever actions are cool. Don't get me wrong. I really like the lever action guns. I think they're just really pretty cool overall, just to own and have a good conversation piece. The one kind of is irritating me because it ain't running. But you can see this thing right here is running just fine. I do want to get the other magazine, put 5 rounds in it and see if it will run it like this one does. This one seems to be running flawlessly, but sometimes you can have magazine issues with any firearm, so you do want to check both magazines. If you get 2 with your gun, whether it be a pistol or rifle, whatever it may be, I always check both magazines and make sure it runs. And then I may even sight this optic in a little bit. I mean, I'm still tearing up the target. There's just a great big hole over there, and I'm really not shooting anything. Let me just show you. Yeah, I'm really not shooting anything, to tell you the truth about it. I'm just kind of putting rounds through that big old hole that's down there right now. But I am going to try the other magazine out, and then I'll sight this optic in and give you my final thoughts. All right, guys, the next magazine, and I actually had brought some 2 3/4 inch buckshot, so we're going to shoot some buckshot through this. Make sure buckshot runs, and just see how the gun cycles with that, and see how this magazine works. If the magazine, or if the buckshot don't work in this magazine, we'll try it in other magazines, see if it's a magazine problem. But I think it'll work. I think both magazines will be all right. All right, guys, I'm pretty close to that target. I'm probably like 8 or 10 yards, something like that. And the optic seems to be pretty side in, because that last shot I went up to his head and it blew the whole bottom end of his head off. I mean, completely off. Literally all that's left is his brain. That's literally all that's left. This shotgun is fun. Out of all of them I've tested so far, if I was going to recommend buying one, it would be this one. I've always kind of liked the scar pattern guns. In my opinion, I've never actually owned or got to shot a real scar, and this is pretty fun. It kind of makes me want to buy a real scar. Again, I keep forgetting to look at that reciprocating recharging handle. Let me do it right now. I'm going to throw a couple rounds in here, and I'm going to shoot it kind of low down here, so I can kind of look at that and kind of see if that's actually reciprocating or not. All right, guys, I want to tell you one thing before we did this. The reason I found that these are kind of hard to load is when you push down the top one, it gets caught on the back of the brass, And that's what you're kind of having to overcome when you're loading these magazines. The edge of the brass will get caught right here on the front lip, and then it kind of gets stuck and you kind of have to wiggle a little bit to get over it. If it wasn't for that, I don't think it'd be a big issue loading these, but that kind of makes it a little bit of pain in the butt. Not too bad, not bad enough to not buy one of these, because these things are fun. These are fun, but that's the only thing you got to really overcome with these. And these 1919 magazines seem to be pretty plentiful out in the wild. So if you're looking for like 10 rounders, which is probably what I'll pick up, don't hesitate, because this is fun. All right, guys, I kind of set the camera up behind a little bit so the hole don't fly out and just kill the camera. But I just want to see if that reciprocates. And where I hold it at, you can see right here how I hold it. It doesn't really get in the way. I'm just curious for left-handers, because this isn't, you know, ambidextrous. You can't move it. Yeah. I like to go back and watch the footage, but it does look like that reciprocates. So if you're a left-hander, that might suck a little bit, because this is kind of where exactly that you would kind of hold your hand at, and it would definitely grab it. The first scars reciprocated, so this is probably modeled after something like that. But if you're a lefty, this might not be the one for you. As you can plainly see right here, this is just metal, and there is no swapping sides on that charging handle. All right, guys, that's at 15 yards. Just doing like a home defense, kind of set up yardage like down the hallway. My hallway's no way it's 15 yards, probably, maybe 10. But I didn't even sight that optic in, and there was like 4 got off paper right here. Everything else was just right in the center. I was aiming like right around in here. So that buckshot come out. You can see it did have some spread. I might be able to pull it over, but there's a lot of it right here in the center. So I really don't even know if I'm gonna mess with that optic in it. It looks like it's pretty decent. I might be able to take it a click over to the right. But if I do, then you got stuff like this one right here and this one right here that may spray out, but you got a bunch of them over here. I'll probably just leave it alone. It looks pretty decent right there. A lot of it in the middle, a lot of it down here, a lot of it in the head. So I really hate to mess with it too much, because that looks pretty dang good. I could probably bring slugs, which I didn't bring any slugs, and kind of narrow that in a little bit better. But for buckshot, that looks pretty good. So let's go finish this thing up. All right, guys, as light shooting as this is, because as heavy as it is, I'm gonna fill that in the morning, because I put, I don't know, probably 60, 70 rounds of shotgun down range a day on and off camera. So I'm probably gonna be a little bruised up and a little sore, but by far, out of all the Black Aces Tactical products that I've tested today, the Pro Max 12 is my favorite. Again, I do still have another one at home to test. It's more of a competition gun. It's got a long magazine tube on it to fit. I don't know how many rounds it fits, but it's a lot. It's actually longer than the barrel, which it has quite a long barrel. I don't know exactly. It's probably like 24, 26-inch barrel. And the magazine tube sticks out a little bit past that. And then, like I said, I believe I can get my hands on one of the Benelli M4 clone ones. But it's got a lot of work to do to stand up to this one, because this thing is fun. I mean, fun. Now, I don't know if I recommend this for kids, if you're training your kids, because one, it's, you know, if you're training them, it's semi-automatic. You really would rather probably do that on like a single shot or something. So if they drop it or something, it can't go off a second time. But secondly, this thing is pretty heavy. It's not a lightweight rifle by any stretch of the imagination. But it is fun. I mean, it is. You could tell by the way I was smiling with this thing just how much I love this. And this was not the shotgun I thought that I would fall in love with. It is not. I figured it would be the wood grain, which I do really like because it did actually work. But this one, and I think this is my favorite shotgun I've ever fired in my life. No lies, no lies. I'd never really even heard of Black Aces Tactical. It was just, I don't know, a few months ago. But this thing, I don't know about all of them, but this one's a home run. It's a home run. If you're looking for some kind of tactical shotgun to take out to the range or home defense, I might recommend this. Put a few more rounds through it before you run it for home defense. I'd probably put 40 rounds through it, 40 or 50 rounds through it today-ish. So run a few more than that, of course. But it is a blast to shoot. I just did not think I would be so enamored about this shotgun. And I'm not even a shotgun guy, and I still really like this shotgun. So 2 thumbs up for the Black Aces Tactical Pro Max 12. It just seems like home with all the AR controls. Really like it. I think these run about $450 on their website. I don't know if you can find them cheaper anywhere else, but on their website, I think they're about $450, $460, something like that. So definitely not a cheap shotgun, but definitely not M4 prices or SCAR prices either. I appreciate you guys watching this video. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below. I love you guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.